Put about 8 hours on it last weekend.
Nice, nice,
She's running again.
nice. Congratulations.
Landed on the gravel bar. The water solo out in Canyon Ferry. It's
You are allowed, Mr. Chairman.
great.
Because it didn't take that long. Sorry.
Okay.
I lied.
Well, we'll get a minute or two jump start here. Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Okay, is there any public comment not on the agenda? Okay, did everybody have a chance to read the minutes? Any changes?
Not for me.
I have not had a chance. I'm in the process.
Excuse me.
Okay, while he's doing that, do you have any claims?
I do, Mr. Chairman. There is one claim for $105.96, one for plexiglass for $97.93, and the other one for coupling, however, for $7.98. That would be my only claim.
Oh, that was
Sorry.
good.
Yeah, that would be my only claim.
That was over there. It looks great.
Yeah, it's great. Got a little trim yet put on.
Yeah.
Put plexiglass instead of, I don't want him up on the roof.
Yeah,
Yeah, Mike Delger, he said he doesn't need to be up on it.
yeah.
And for the record, that's from Townsend Hardware. I didn't say it before, sorry. I'll pass your fuel down too while you're sitting there. You can look
Sure.
at that.
That should be a big one.
Yeah.
This is what you said earlier in the week in the email, right?
No, I sent you
Oh, this is
a
different.
draft of the
Oh, okay.
permit.
Oh, no, this.
Oh, I
Fuel
sent
thing.
you one
Yeah.
last month because he wanted you to see these charges on here that you're getting. I don't know where they are, but there's, that you have to have for those, so. This is this month.
My biggest question on that is, did we get charged for him using his pump?
Did we?
I don't know.
Oh.
Let's take a look.
Sure. You know what you're looking for, I know.
There's another copy too.
Is that on the fuel?
I have to give that to Melissa, but there's another copy
Okay.
I have for her.
Yeah. Oh,
You know, my experience with that, they preferred to use that, but they never charged us. But I've heard since then that if you request it, they're charging you, so I don't know. The driver always said, it's nothing to turn that on.
that's what he said when we were out there. Yeah. This is This is the credit cards.
But we did turn it on, to pump out the line we were all done. Because there's fuel in that line.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably good to turn it on every.
Yeah,
so-
it worked fine.
I see the price for fuel was down a little more this week. Got something yesterday, I think it was $4.43 or some such thing. But it can turn around and go the other way in a heartbeat too. There's nothing wrong with the price we paid. Okay.
Probably Lance.
Hello?
Yeah, this is Lance.
Hi Lance, this is Bob. Adam's right here,
Hey, Bob.
the board's here and we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I was just calling to listen in. I don't need to go first. You guys can just go through your agenda as you see fit.
Sounds good. Thank you. That's just the credit card statement. If there are no corrections to the minutes?
Nope.
Okay, minutes are approved. Do we have a financial report?
Yes. So in your airport cash account, 91,321.08. 91,321.08. In your CIP account, 486,725.12. 486,725.12 cents. And Mr. Chairman, there are some discrepancies in your cash account that Michelle found, and it has been corrected. So something to do with some school deposits or something. So they had to adjust it. It wasn't a large amount. So I'll get you another amount again. I'll ask for another amount. Did we hang up on him? What it says is, I found it. I don't think it's, I mean, she said it was, she got it corrected. School deposit slips for $98.60. It shouldn't have gone in here.
Hello.
It was a missed deposit.
Which is which here?
Oh, he's there, now he's gone.
Lance, do I still have you?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. My line died and it kicked me off, so I had to dial back in.
Oh, so you're back in. Okay, great. Okay, yeah, I guess we'll wait to find out what that was.
Yeah, it was $98.66, and it's been corrected. $98.66. It was just a missed deposit in our account that had to be corrected. Anyway.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the claim?
I'll move to approve the claims as submitted.
I'll second that.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Claims are approved. I'll just address that,
About on the third page there, the total credit card cost $160-some for that month.
166.
Who stole it? I stole it.
Oh, it's over there.
Oh, I thought I gave you
you see something, Bob?
Here. Total transaction fees,
Thank you.
161.20.
Yeah, so on
People don't
the,
realize that 3.5–4.5% adds up.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, I bet you do.
I pay $3,500 a month credit card fees, so.
so regarding the credit card fees, there was a question about PCI compliance. We are getting charged, I think it's $25 for PCI compliance. Now, I looked into it a little bit. I don't know that there's much we can do there. Our total fees, if you add everything up, we're paying 2.99%. And that's been true. I've checked it the last couple months. And that's pretty decent.
Of the gross?
Of the gross.
2.99?
Of the gross. It's pretty decent considering we only sell $7,000 a month
Mm-hmm.
or so. I'm aware of some other companies that accept credit cards in much greater quantity, and you know it's as low as 2.9%. So we're doing pretty
Oh,
good.
yeah.
I don't
I don't
think there's much to
about that.
pursue there. In other words, so there was some question about PCI compliance in a past meeting, and
But
I just don't think it's an issue.
is this a good time to speak up about the new fuel system?
We have it on the agenda. We'll
Okay.
yeah. Okay. Lance, if you still got us there, you're up on the permit application and the AWAS.
Yeah, and the permit application was, is Daryl in attendance tonight?
He is not.
He is not.
The permit application was something that we sent in on the overall airport affected area permit application that I had drafted. And I believe they had the county attorney look at it and maybe the planner. And they went through it, made some very minor revisions. It looks fine to me. I think he was looking for board approval of that slightly permit application. He must have added that to the agenda.
You have a
Do
copy
we have
of it. The board has a copy in their packet, Lance. Sorry, I mean,
That's fine.
you have a draft. You have
Okay,
a
thank
draft.
you.
The last page, I think. Yep.
On the last page on the back.
Are you able to point out the changes to us, Lance?
You know, I'm not, I didn't look at the revised packet, so I didn't, he sent it to me, a couple of weeks ago maybe, and, I think he only changed some verbiage, and I don't know exactly what it was, but it looked identical in context to what was previously what I had presented. I think they changed, just some nomenclature for, the airport name change, et cetera.
Okay, well, if you're in agreement with this, abiding by the best practices for the county airport and also the FAA, then I don't know that we have a lot to add to it.
Yeah, and it follows your existing, airport affected area ordinance. So it's not like, without going back through resolutions for change of that, the permit application just never got set up. So it is set up to follow that airport affected area ordinance.
Okay. All right, well, if you don't have any objections to it, we'll call for a motion to approve.
Okay, well,
Yeah, I don't have any objections.
I'll move to approve the Broadwater County Airport 8U8 Airport Zoning Regulations Permit Application.
I would second that.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, Lance, you have on here about AWAS. Could you fill us in on that idea?
Yeah, so we've been talking about the AWAS, weather station, and the 3 PT that's listed in there means, it comes with all the temperature and dew point and wind speed, but the 3 comes with a ceilometer, cloud height, and then the P is present weather, and T is lightning sensor. So these are pretty advanced weather stations. We've been discussing it for, probably over a year now. And it just kind of has been tabled because we needed the major reconstruction project to move forward. And now we're to a point where if this is going to actually move forward in fiscal year, and this is federal fiscal year 2025, for construction next summer, I would kind of need a go-no-go decision on whether or not we submit FAA and Montana Aeronautics grant applications. You do have the available federal grant funds to move forward with the project. I know it would be a benefit to your airport and really the community as well because they would use it. It does come with annual maintenance costs on the order of $10,000 per year that are not FAA eligible. So the question being, do you want to just table this for another fiscal year and bring this up after we get through the major reconstruction project, or at least most of the way through the major reconstruction project? Or are you serious enough that you want to move forward with that project and grant application?
So if we decide to move forward with it now, what is the time frame for implementing it? Would it be?
For installation?
Yep.
You mean for installation?
Yes.
It'd be installed next year. I'm assuming it'd be highly likely that the electrical company that's going to do your runway lighting improvements bids on the project, and they would likely try and put it in at the same time they're doing the major reconstruction. It would be a separate contract, so that's not a guarantee, but it would go next summer regardless. We would turn it out to bid this fall, winter. It'd get awarded, and they'd order the materials and be installing it sometime, May, June, July of next summer.
Personally, I think even though we're sitting pretty well financially as far as the construction project, I think on this, I think I would like to hold off for a while yet. Whether we hold off for a year, I don't know about that. But there's always something that can pop up, and I don't want to get us caught between a rock and a hard spot.
Mm-hmm. Lance, is there any savings having the electrical company doing it in conjunction with the runway project? Or are they going to view it as two separate things?
Very minor savings. They're going to have a trencher there and, a backhoe and augers to auger the foundation that are going to be there. But the contractor that's doing that, the electrical contract, is out of Helena. They're actually out of East Helena. That's not a lot of money to mow, skid steers and a trencher down. So that's really your cost savings. Absent of that, there's really no cost savings. So you're potentially talking, I don't know, $5,000 in cost savings. Not really significant in comparison to the size and the cost of, a weather station. I don't think it's a real push to need to, to move forward right away. The FAA is really cyclic with their grants. So we do pretty much, if we skip right now, we do skip a year because we can't bid something in the middle of the year. They're just so cyclic with their deadlines and when they actually allocate funds. We have to have the project moving now in order to have it in line for grant funding come May, June. That's just how they operate on the federal fiscal year. We're right at the very beginning of the federal fiscal year, which started October 1st. Thus the reason for the discussion. They basically make you start right away in order to get grants middle of the federal fiscal year. And that's just kind of the way they are. So we'd skip a year, but there's really no cost savings. We tend to get good bidders on those AWAS projects, and it's a total separate manufacturer than any of the other, airport lighting equipment or anything we're doing on the project. I don't see that there's really any cost savings or additional expenses waiting a year or even 2 years.
Okay, so that's not major consideration. What about, so we have the federal assistance grant of $300,000, Montana Aeronautics for $33,000. Does that cover the entire cost of the installation and setup?
So those are applications for grant assistance. So it does. That covers the full estimated project cost, $330,000 and change. And what that is that's a 90% federal grant request. That's essentially guaranteed. You have that grant money available. Montana Aeronautics grant request in the amount of $33,000 would be the request for the 10% local share that's required. They allocate that out in January of every year, so that's not guaranteed. The past several years, they have been, for the most part, fully supporting weather station projects because they view them as a safety measure. So they've funded, I think, 9 or 10% of those requests, which would be 90% FAA and then 9 or 10% from Montana Aeronautics. So the local share on the installation has been limited to zero on these weather station projects ever since they increased that aviation fuel tax and increased the grant amounts that they, or the grant funding that they have within Montana Aeronautics. So I would expect you to have limited local share. The real expense on these weather stations is $10,000 in annual cost that is not FAA eligible, that you have to bite into for at least 15 years because you have to maintain this system as FAA certified and calibrated for at least a 15-year time frame, which is the life expectancy of the weather station. So you're jumping into it for $150,000
over a 10-year period.
Spread out over
15.
over 15 years. Yes.
Yeah, I guess, this is Rob. I guess, the way I'm hearing it now, it's essentially an opportunity to get funds. It's not expending funds that we currently have. And so if we don't put in for funds, it's just funds we don't potentially have an access to for the coming fiscal year.
That's correct.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
essentially what we're looking at is the difference between ponying up, $10,000 starting, this next year versus putting that off a year before we do it. So it sounds like we might just be leaving money on the table if we don't apply.
Well, the aeronautics money doesn't, or the FAA money doesn't disappear. That's money that you have in your quote unquote FAA bank account. That comes back next year automatically.
Oh, okay, so that's nothing we're gonna lose. Okay,
No, you're not losing it.
Okay.
There's no money that you would lose. The aeronautics money you can apply for each and every year, so you're really not losing it either. You're just delaying when you would request a grant assistance on that from Montana Aeronautics. You're not really leaving money on the table by any means. But if you decided to delay a year or even 2 years, that money's still available. Nothing's going to expire. Nothing's going to disappear.
okay, all right, just wanted to be sure we weren't letting something go that we needed to be on top of.
No,
Okay.
and I wouldn't let you do that, or I'd make dang certain you knew that. If that
I figured.
That was gonna be
This
my
is
next
Bob
question.
Lance. Question for you. Is there any movement afoot that you know of that the FAA or somebody else, a private party, is coming around with any new weather reporting equipment that may not have this $10,000 fee attached to it?
No, the FAA weather cameras is really the only thing that's been moving forward for assistance for this type of thing. There is a private party that's trying to that. Right now, these systems are being maintained, calibrated by the system manufacturer, and they're charging like in that $10,000 a year range. There is a private party that got certified to calibrate these that lives in Fort Benton, and we're trying to get him to really step up and start doing. Right now, he's doing the Choteau County airports, and he hasn't proposed on any other airports yet. I'm trying to get him interested in doing this across the state because he seems to be doing it for about half the price.
That would be
So I'm
wonderful.
trying to market to him that this is a great business decision. Like he's a young entrepreneur. And I'm like, you could maintain 10 systems across the state and make $50,000. So that's what I'm trying to get him to do, and so that hasn't happened yet. The FAA has told me currently the FAA does maintain some of these systems in Alaska. They have given me their final decision that they are not going to do that in Montana. They are not going to maintain weather stations that the airports own in Montana. They're not going to take them over as FAA owned or operated equipment either.
Okay, and the last thought I had on it was we had approached Billings Health, and they basically gave us a hard no on helping out with that $10,000
Yeah,
a year.
they pretty much said that they didn't have available budget. They were constrained, so they didn't see that they would be able to do that. So that was both at the level of coming out of Billings itself, and then also here locally with the head of the hospital system.
Yeah, because I see that as one of the major advantages of this system is to help the Mercy flight, basically.
Yeah. And additionally, having an on-site weather station as part of the runway project, we are doing instrument approach procedure data collection. So RPA acquires, obtains the data. We do ground-based survey, and we subcontract for aerial imagery, and we tie the aerial imagery is flown in a grid pattern, low level, high level, and leak on conditions, and then we submit obstruction analysis from all this data. It's a massive amount of data that we submit. We actually mail the FAA a hard drive of the information, the data, and a huge amount of data collection. It's a $100,000 engineering task order, 100,000 plus, a lot of which is aerial imagery. But that data gets submitted to the FAA, and you may get an instrument approach procedure developed out of it. A weather station will result, an on-site weather station will result in lower minimums because you get penalized if you use a remote altimeter. But realistically, we will be collecting that data next year. We actually have flown it already for the design flight, but we need to fly it again after construction is complete. So we'll be submitting that data realistically 3 years before anything is developed out of it. So you'd have plenty of time still to decide to add a weather station before that instrument approach procedure is actually developed. And I don't know what kind of penalty you'd face anyway, because there's not much. You'd be using Helena as a remote altimeter. Well, if there was a mountain range between here and Townsend, that penalty might be significant. But in all likelihood, that penalty might be pretty minimal anyways. So if you delay, we would still have plenty of time to kind of ferret that information out and try and determine what that penalty might be, so you guys could better weigh whether or not you do want to put in a weather station or not.
Okay, and then I guess my thought on it is, I think I would need to sit down with the commissioners and do some budgeting before we make a $10,000 a year
Yeah,
I
commitment.
totally agree.
absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
And, you know, along them lines, maybe we can formulate a list of companies, whatever, that may have an interest in assisting in the maintenance end of that. I mean, we've talked to one party, and when I talked to the chief pilot down in Billings a year and a half ago, he said, I think we ought to be able to do this, and the hospital ought to be able to help across the state in more than one airport. But evidently the hospital board hasn't decided that.
No, they shut him down. Yeah, so unfortunately.
Okay, unless, go ahead. Wait.
Questions, Mr. Chairman. Dwight Thompson, Airport Manager. Question for Lance. Lance, we talked last at the aviation conference about the possibility of aeronautics taking on the
Maintenance.
the system of maybe going around and checking these systems out. Have you heard anything more on that?
Yeah, they're not interested in doing it at all.
Oh, okay.
Not even a little bit, not with the current.
Yeah, it'd be a good project for them. So they could. Yeah. Okay. I was just wondering if you'd heard anything as far as them taking on maintenance for those.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
And they do it, and I think really a lot of the expense of $10,000 is to travel and to get to all the airports. So if I could get somebody bid into just cycling through all the airports on you have to do it 3 times a year, but they could make a route 3 times a year that would take probably no more than a month each route, and they could be charging $5,000 a pop, and seems like a pretty good deal to me. But we have to get somebody certified on all those, and they have to have a radio operator's license and other things, So there's some upkeep on their end in order to do it. And we do have somebody certified on one of the systems right now out of Fort Benton, and I'm trying to get him certified on the other system. So I'm working on it because I know that it would be a benefit to a lot of my clients.
Great.
Okay, well, if Unless anybody has some glaring desire to approach us, I think we wait.
I'd like to table it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we should have that discussion with Daryl and the commissioners, and since we're looking at potentially committing to a 10-year
Yeah,
requirement.
yeah.
All right, that's the plan, Lance. We're gonna wait.
Okay. And just so you all know, I don't disagree. I think if
Yep.
I was in your shoes, I'd probably do the same thing. So I actually tried to get a hold of Daryl today. I didn't know he was going to be out. So I left him a voicemail with essentially that same, I don't know if it was a firm recommendation, I wouldn't say that, but kind of along those lines of, you may just want to wait until, get through the project and or at least get most of the way through the project, and then we can bring it back up again.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's a huge disadvantage other than the fact that, we go another year without DAWAS, but.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Anything else for us, Lance?
No, that's all I have. I can hang on the line though if you guys, I think you might pop up with questions.
Okay, appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Be great.
Okay, next item we have here is the new fuel system. I don't believe there's been any movement on that. Dwight, do you know of anything there?
And that fellow that I had talked to that was gonna go elk hunting, I don't know if he's still elk hunting or what the deal is, but I've not heard anything. And I was thinking about that when I got here tonight. Thought, dang, I should have tried to get a hold of him and see if he's still planning on coming up here.
I haven't heard anything more on a new fuel system, just an update on our old system. The gallon reader at the pump, the little icons that are there that tell you how many gallons you have, some of those icons have disappeared. So it's a little hard to read if you have 30 gallons.
Of course they have.
Yeah, of course they have. Yeah, so, but just an FYI, yeah.
So has it been going pretty smoothly?
Yeah. Yeah, knock on wood. It's been going all right.
Great.
Haven't had any issues here within the last couple, 3 weeks, so,
Good.
yeah.
It's like a new record for us.
Yeah,
Surprising.
yeah, so.
Thank you.
Hasn't been a good year for it.
Right. Okay, next item on the agenda is Mark Sather hangar sale consent, and I am involved in this, so I'm going to recuse myself and go to the audience. Would you take over for this one, Bob, and I'll
Sure.
explain?
Sure.
Okay, Adam McDonald.
Okay, now, yeah, can you bring us up to date?
Yeah, okay, so
yes.
Mark Sather is selling his hangar, and I'm looking to buy it. And the lease that we have now says the lessee, meaning the airport board, shall not sell this lease or any part of the premises without the express prior written consent of the lessor, again, airport board, which consent shall not be unreasonably withheld. So, again, the idea being, of course, that that the airport board knows
Or the
who
advisory,
is
or the
purchasing.
advisory board.
And so this is my, I guess, indication that I intend to buy it, and so we're looking for the consent. So
Okay,
All right.
and this is at 8U8?
yes, this is 8U8 hangar number 8, which I think is also the lot number. Does that sound right?
Daryl's 11, so 10 and 9 and 8, yeah.
Yeah, I
Probably
think it's
correct.
I think it's hangar 8, lot 8. The lot and the hangar is the same. Yep.
Okay,
Yep. Anyway, so we have entered into a contract to buy it, so we're looking for the board consent to,
okay.
so.
Can I have a motion from the board for consent or dissent, whichever, on this subject, selling of this hangar?
I move that we consent the sale of the hangar.
Second. Okay, it's moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Great. Thank you.
Awesome.
You're gonna have a coffee pot over there, aren't you?
Absolutely. And a fridge.
So, Mr. Chairman, Adam, do you need a hanger release, or do you have a copy of it here?
I believe I have a copy,
You know,
I'll bring
is there
it.
a new one, or what?
I'll bring it next meeting, I
Okay.
would imagine, so.
Okay.
Okay. We have discuss and decide new leases for current hangar owners, and that is in the commission's ball court at the moment, so I don't think there's any movement there that I'm aware of. Okay, and then hangar lease requests and priority list. Now, last month we had talked about going back through the list. What did you
So
find?
I contacted Clint. I gave him some information, and I emailed him again a few days ago, and he said he was going to pass on this one and wait for the new ones. The next person on the list is Dylan Mancello, and so I contacted Jess, and she was going to have a conversation with her husband, and I have not heard back. Likely they are going to probably pass, but she will let me know. That's as far as I've gotten.
Okay, and there's more people on the list.
Well, I also added Mark Tippett called me, he talked to you,
Yep.
and I put him on the list. He it needs a bigger, I'm sure he's talked to you, bigger hangar. He has an RV8 and a Thunder Mustang, just so you know. I am impressed that I could say that, and I looked them up and looked at pictures of them, so I know what they look like.
They're pretty neat.
Anyway, he needs a bigger lot anyway, so he's on the bottom of the list. So currently we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 on the list.
Wow. Yeah, that Mark Tippett had indicated he's probably gonna wait for the new taxiway for a larger lot. Yep.
Yes, so I'll be waiting for Dylan to get back with me, and then I'll move on.
Okay.
And I know two other ones are just waiting to see how things are unfolding. Derek, the electrician, his wife's running for the superintendent.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's got 2 plans, I know, I'm aware of that. So he's gonna want one too.
He is
I told him
not
he's gotta-
on here.
Yeah, I know, I told him he's gotta get them all together.
Okay.
Yeah. And the guy out of the silos wants I think one in town.
Okay.
He has a 182 sitting out
Oh,
there.
I wondered
Steve,
whose that was.
yeah.
Okay, well, Dwight, the floor is yours for airport manager update.
I don't have a whole lot for 8U8 other than the fuel system thing that we're kind of working on there. 8U9, is been kind of a question with the project coming up next year of what's going to happen to that, and as far as tie downs, a lot of I should say a few hangar owners from 8U8 would like to transfer their planes when we know of a firm date to Canyon Ferry, so they'll be able to use the airplanes during the summer. Lance, are we still looking at May 1st for a shutdown?
Yeah, tentatively.
Yeah.
That's going to be weather dependent. So we will give, as the contractor, gets through this season, and they will give us a date that they want to start, but it's still going to be weather dependent.
Right.
Some years, you can start April 15th or whatever, but some years, May 15th might be the start date for, real reasonable construction and excavation with, frost and everything else.
Yeah, I only have one hangar owner, John Riddle, who's next to Wade. He's going to be in Dominican Republic, and he was planning on flying home on the 5th of May. So he's going to be checking with us because he doesn't want to get his airplane stuck here. He does want to move out to the silos. But I think everybody else I've talked to is, just kind of let us know. And I think when we get a more firm date, I'll let all the airplane owners know when we might be shutting the airport down so they can move out there.
Will the one hangar owner be able to use the turf by chance?
Is it turf at 8U8?
Yeah.
I thought we were understanding that would be closed down for equipment.
Yeah, It will. We
Yeah.
don't want aircraft coming in
Right.
and out because the equipment won't be paying attention to it, but we could still, I mean, we can organize to get somebody out. We just don't want somebody coming in and out, right?
Right.
Because
Well,
they're flying over top of the equipment, it becomes a safety hazard, but with some coordination, we can definitely get somebody out. There just might not be a paved runway there to get somebody
Right.
out.
well, my discussion has been that the airport would be closed and, yeah, we wouldn't have in and out service.
But it's good to know if somebody was stuck.
Yeah, they could get out
Yeah.
there. We could make some things around.
Assuming they're
Yeah,
comfortable.
Yeah,
we just need to
absolutely.
coordinate with the contractor because essentially they have control. But somebody organizing and saying, "Well, can I leave on the turf?" Obviously, it's not a designated, official runway, regardless. But we can, they can take off out of there. We just need to coordinate with the contractor to make sure that it's safe to do so that they don't have equipment crossing right in front of them or something.
Right.
In an emergency, we could probably use the road coming in from the highway also. We'd have to get sheriff or somebody out there to block traffic off and we could get a plane out.
Yeah. So, I guess, yeah, I've been telling people that we're trying to have an alternate runway use for them. The flight instructors, Chris Fury, he's going to move his 172 out to the silos. And Wade is also looking at building it. He bought some property east of town, and he's looking at putting his own runway out there, but he won't be able to have it done yet. So he'll probably, if we don't, he's going to move both of his airplanes to the silos also. And Adam and I were out there. There's actually only 4 tie downs that are there. We're going to set up, I think we can double that plus in the area without any problem and have some relatively low cost of put some nice tie downs in with just some bolts and some quick right and that'll be good. So that's how we can store them. The next thing that comes up is the runway itself, and we had Daryl and not TJ, the county road guy, Gravely.
Great.
That's
Great.
TJ Gridley.
Yeah, TJ. We met with a company called Dust Pods and looked at the runway. Some options that they had there was to reapply the mag chloride, which is caustic to aluminum and fabric, which we've done in the past, which probably be the cheapest thing to lay down. One was the tar, like they lay down before a chip seal project, and that's real messy. And then Dell had gone to this Mako convention and seen this thing called Dust Pods, which is a polymer product that they spray on, and it's environmentally friendly and non-caustic to aircraft. So they were going to try to get us some quotes, and they came back with an engineer and did a soil test on the runway. It turns out when they just walked on top of it, they thought this would be the perfect layout for what their product is. But after they did the soil burr, there's big rocks and stuff that they thought that would not probably be the best option. They basically just kind of tear off about the first 4 to 6 inches, mix it up with this polymer, and then pack it back down, and then spray another polymer on top of that. And a lot of the racetracks and stuff use it, stock car tracks and stuff for their dust. But he says it's from what they had tried to sell us was it's next thing besides pavement. It really makes a nice product. His first bid was around $26,000 to do that, and it sounded like a lot of money to me, but apparently that's not that big of a deal. But so then they came back with if we had gravel, it would make a lot better job. And Daryl said that the county could help out with maybe supplying the gravel for them. Now they are kind of weather dependent. It's winter months and stuff, and it's not the best time to do this job. So coming May, if that's when we're going to close down the other one, they need about 3 weeks to do this project. So depending on weather, if we could get in there before then, with something, if that's something the board wants to look at. So I did check with Greymont. Greymont does have a grant for kind of green era type of projects for the county. I am going to put in for it, but Steve didn't know if that would, the manager for that didn't know if it would really fly that well, but we'll put in for it. And then I did talk with the National Guard, it's Steve McKenzie, who is the safety and standardization pilot, says that the Guard may have some funds to help out with projects like this. So they're running that up the flagpole right now and see. He couldn't give us a yes or no, of course, but they try to maintain a good friendly partnership with us, and so that's in the works. So that might pan out by spring, and then of course I'm applying for the grant from aeronautics for it. If that's if the board wants me to continue to do that. And I'm not sure if the county would help us out with any funding for that at all. The problem is it's about where the touchdown area is at. We've lost all the fines on that, and it's just rock on rock on. It's just marble. And so even when they go and pack it, there's nothing to pack it into to hold it. So we've had some airplanes land that they've nicked their props and stuff and have caused some concern. Aeronautics does use it now for their ACE program and stuff, and I think we've got a really good relationship with them, and they, I think, would see a need to help us out with that. I did check, Bob, with the fencing, and I did talk with Daryl again today on that. The fencing for 8U9 is the BOR has give Daryl a pretty much a 2 thumbs up that they're going to take care of that for us, and not to waste the energy applying for a grant for that.
They're going to take care of the fencing or the survey?
Well, that's all included in that. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great.
And I guess it's been, we've looked at, the grants have been in the past, and it's been turned down, so it wasn't,
Yes.
yeah.
Three times was turned down by
Yeah,
the
so,
state.
yeah. So, I mean, if you want me to put in for it again, but what I'm getting is it's probably, it's being taken care of from
What I was
BOR.
putting in for it, the board wanted me to put in to get the survey, and then we would, once we had the thing surveyed, then we would get, probably apply for more grants.
Yeah.
So all I ever put in for was the survey.
Survey,
I did
oh,
not
yeah.
put in for the survey
Yeah.
and grant as one item.
And, okay, yeah, Daryl was saying the survey and the fence, and they're resurveying the campground and stuff, so, so that sounds like that's in the works.
Great.
We've got the metal on the outhouse, the roof and the siding. We've got some trim and skylights to put in, and it's in good shape. And that's about it, I guess.
Got everything but Wi-Fi in it, huh?
I'm sorry.
Got everything but Wi-Fi in it?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's very usable, and yeah. We've the shingles that came off the old one. I was going to take them up to the landfill, and the senior center, or the assisted living out south of town, their hobby person or whatever, she's been coming out, don't throw them away, and they've been taking the flat ones and doing something like doing paint on the shingles, and she's just tickled pink. They
No, because the county's going to charge you.
well, the county is I'm not sure. You know, I got it all bundled up in a tarp, but she keeps coming out and getting more and more and more. So, yeah.
Huh.
So, anyway.
They're cedar.
Yeah, yeah. They got some moss on it, I think. So, yeah, she's just, I guess the residents are really enjoying having the cedar planks to paint on. So,
Great.
Good.
Yeah.
So I was curious, talking about, the different surfaces that, or things we coat the surface of the roadway with there. Did the people with the polymer give any idea of the life of that material? I mean,
Yeah,
it seems like
great-
paying that much. I mean,
Great question. So it's about 10 years.
10
Oh, wow.
years.
And then at 5 years, they come back and they just put a spray back on it. And what they were explaining to TJ and Dale and I was that the easy fix too is you just rough it back up again and then pack it back in. The product is always there. So it's not like you have to keep doing something. But yeah, 10 years is
Yeah.
the life of it.
So it's not like mag chloride that goes away pretty quick.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so
yeah.
that, in the long run, might be a reasonable
Yeah.
solution, particularly if it were to deal with the touchdown area.
Yeah.
So that essentially that would be dug up and essentially changed to where it's actually a better surface than we currently have.
Yeah.
And with stabilized with that polymer material, so.
The wind blows pretty hard out there, and stuff, blows those fines and stuff. That's the glue that holds all that together. And
aircraft taking off
yeah.
will have some of that. The
Mhm.
times that National Guard has been there where they weren't supposed to be.
So I do have a follow-up on that. So we did have a concern that one of the helicopters had landed on the runway, and Bob had called me, and I called him on that. And this Steve McKenzie got back to me, who was the standardization, but that crew had a red line emergency. And so,
wow.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So because I do know that they have over and over asked their crews not to land at Canyon Ferry, that they use the area that's at the place. And so he did follow up with me that was yeah. That's why they
No
were.
problem.
That's why they were. I guess they were on the runway for a while.
Yeah, they were on the runway for
Yeah, they were working through
maybe
whatever they have to
8
do
or 10
to
minutes,
take
something
back
like
off.
that.
Yeah,
But
it was.
but it was running all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah. So yeah, I don't know what it was, but it was we need to set this thing down to the closest place we can. I guess. That's what Steve didn't know that you were a pilot. He says he's worked with you in 4-H and stuff and things.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I said, yeah, he's our board chairman, and oh yeah, I know. Yeah. So, and I hope we didn't open up a can. I'm sure they appreciate. They want to keep a good friendship going with us and stuff. But the comment that they came back to me also, he says it is a public airport, and
Yeah.
we can do whatever we want, is what he said. But it's like he was very gentle about saying he didn't want to ruffle
He's trying to be a
feathers.
good neighbor, but at the
Yeah.
same time, he's
But
letting us know.
what I was told when I moved out there was they want to know if there's crews landing on that airport because they're not supposed to be. That
Yeah,
was
they
the
they do. They try to
That was
pass
the
that out
agreement.
there. But, yeah. Because I maybe I was kind of flexing, they're not, I think I may have said that, they're not to land on it. And he said, well, no, we can land on it. It's a public airport, but in this case, it was an emergency that they had to set down for. So,
It's understandable.
yeah, absolutely.
And the other thing with regard to the surface, I mean, I think Daryl's idea of gravel is a real problem for props. I mean, if you don't, you spool up,
Yeah.
and then you're pulling that stuff right up off the ground.
Yeah.
So I really hesitate to think about graveling a runway.
Well, it's pretty much gravel now. I think the idea is that it doesn't have any binder in it. There's
no binder.
clay
That- you're right,
or
that's-
whatever other binder that they
Yeah.
use on roads.
I wonder
So
if
it doesn't
there's
stick down
any
when we roll it.
clay in the county
Right,
at all.
right, yeah, that's why I was wondering about the polymer,
Yeah.
I landed on runways.
Well, that's what he said. The
several times,
polymer would work better if they had the fines, and we kind of raise our eyebrows sometimes when we talk about the lime rock fines. But for these guys, they said that'd be the perfect stuff with the
Yeah.
binder because it breaks down a little bit and
Yeah.
it would bind
Right.
up better.
That
And
would be,
yeah,
yeah.
so that was their recommendation. It'd be we'd be happier with it if we brought in like 4 inches. That'd be a lot. I don't know how many truckloads that would be, but it'd be a lot of truckloads to bring in some lime rock. But it's cheap.
It's
Yeah.
cheap, but I can tell you, it'll stick to the wheels. the props will pick it up, throw it back, and it will tear into aluminum
Yeah.
and fabric.
Well, that's what they were talking about with this polymer, that it wouldn't, that
Yeah,
would
you're-
pack down. It'd be part of the,
If it stays stuck
yeah,
together.
yeah, that's what, they said that'd be the perfect stuff for it.
If
you know,
we
I
could
think-
get some real fines of that stuff and not
Yeah.
reject.
Yeah. I think Adam had a situation where a guy had landed next to you out there or something and chipped a prop up, and I think, did you run him into town for epoxy or something where you Band-Aided him to
Yeah,
get
I
out of
can't
here? I can't
remember.
remember how.
He also landed before the displaced threshold and landed with the brakes on, so I mean, there's some culpability there, but,
But
anyway.
nevertheless, he chipped his brand new prop, you
Yeah.
know, yeah. And it was one of those composite props, so, you know, he was afraid of it fracturing and running like a, so, but,
Okay, yeah, I
So-
mean,
I guess asking for some direction on how you want me to proceed with that. If I think we are gonna get a lot heavier use out there while 8U8 is under construction.
Well, we have that opportunity to apply, you know, to aeronautics, and they seem to be very interested in helping us. And so if we could do something to that surface to make it more durable, and, you know, if those people really do stand behind their product and get 10 years out of it, I mean, really, that sounds like a pretty interesting option to deal with, you know, the fact that we already have gravel, but I mean, you know, doing something that actually gives us a more durable surface that's going to cause less damage.
Well, I apologize. I kind of slipped on this one and remembered it today. And this guy was supposed to send me information so I could pass out to the board tonight. And so I had called him, and he said, "Well, we can run down." He's in Spokane, but he has a crew in Great Falls. I said, "Well, it's not on the agenda, and I don't know how. We're probably not looking at doing anything next month, but they'd be happy to come back down." You know, they came down with an engineer,
Sure.
and I know they gave TJ all the stuff on it when they were here.
well, it seems like we should pursue all the above,
Yeah.
the Montana Aeronautics, the National Guard, if we don't think there's a bunch of strings attached.
Yeah,
What was the other one? You said there was some money.
Graymont.
Graymont.
and then the county.
And then the county
yeah,
with the material.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if the weather allows, and we could do this in April before,
Yeah, you never know. Here, you know, we could
Well, there is another possibility. At one time, it was the counties, and now the counties got out of the camp thing, and that pile of dirt is still there where they dredged out Broadwater Bay. And I believe there's probably enough there to put 3 inches of additional soil, if it's soil and not rock. There's probably enough material there to put 3 or 4 inches on that roadway.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know what kind of material they're looking for, but
If he comes down, you
Yeah,
might
show
ask
him,
him about that, because, I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better right there next to the runway.
yeah, yeah, good point. Yeah, he was thinking about adding about 3 to 4 inches on the existing runway and they were happy how it sloped for water the way it is already. It slopes west to east, so there's a couple of low spots here and there, but
And I don't know what their equipment looks like, whether they've got something like a
yeah,
large cement mixer that they, put the
TJ
soil
asked
in
him about some
and,
equipment things, and it was all over my head, but that's exactly what they said. Well, we got this machine, and TJ just nodded,
because
said,
if
"Great."
they had something like that, if we could get rid of that dirt, or
Yeah.
obtain that dirt and use it there, it would
Yeah.
be wonderful. Probably have to run through a screen so we know we got fines and not gravel.
Yeah,
But next month when Daryl's here, let's visit that subject again.
okay.
thank you for doing all that legwork.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was kind of interesting. I learned
Yeah,
a little bit about
it's
it and
great.
stuff. Yeah, yeah. And so, okay. Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, fuel pricing, we had changed it to $5.50 after the 10,000 gallon load. That still puts us well above our target, and I do think that we're probably on the low end of the area. So we did get that 10,000 gallon load, and we have you had told me, but it was like 9,800 gallons now or something. So I think we sold about 800 gallons in the last month, 800 or 900 gallons in the last month. So yeah, it's nice to have a nice full tank. It's like having hay in the barn going into winter. It's wonderful.
Exactly.
Yep.
So no
That is
changes
true.
there. Okay, is there any new business?
Mr. Chairman, I have just one thing. Someone asked Cody for some kind of information for Three Forks, and the diagram is right there. I made like 3 copies. I can get another one if you need one. I don't think Bob has one.
Yeah, and I don't know that we're going to be able to decipher this. I did talk to the folk boards, and Cody's not available. He's got other irons in the fire at the moment, so he wasn't able to come and explain it to us this time around. So.
Okay.
To clarify, that was regarding what kind of facilities we would have for a spray outfit on the south end. So,
And if Lance is down one of these times, we'll let him take a look at this, because it says Morrison Merrily here, and I'm sure he'll have something to say. They probably have a
Well, that's-
picture just like this.
Yeah, that's the outfit that does Three Forks, so that's why it's
Yeah.
early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay,
I'm
so
sure it's all messed up.
okay, so we'll table that till, or push that off till next month. Do you have any further discussion on that? Is there any other new business? Yep.
Dwight Thompson, Airport Manager, once again. So I made it over to Harlowton, not for their fly-in, but Lance, hats off to you for the nice project you guys did over there. Looked at the hangar and pilot lounge that they have there, and it's real nice, and it's for a small airport, it's got a shower and everything in it. I was looking at our list of things that projects in the future, and I had commented last month about snowplow, and Daryl had mentioned that they may have acquired a snowplow for us for the airport. And also Jeff up in Helena, he still has us on the back burner for us for a snowplow. Only thing we don't have is a building to put it in. So I know on your list there you had snowplow and possible building, but if we can keep the building maybe on there, but I think we might be getting our snowplow problem taken care of there.
If we don't go through with a request an FAA grant to buy a piece of equipment, we're not required to have a building for it.
It'd be just nice to have.
If the FAA funds the equipment,
They
we're
require it.
required to have a building.
Yeah.
And they will kick in their 90%.
Yeah. So I know that's down the road a little ways, but I think we may be having sounds like we might get a snowplow.
Some kind of a
It'll be it'll be nicer so we can get it plowed off in a timely manner,
Sure.
a little easier. And then the last thing I have is some of the boards around the state. You're not in this for the money, that's for sure. But the aviation conference is coming up in February, and I think the county should fund the airport board members that want to go to that or to go to that thing. It's well worth it, and there's a lot of stuff that board members can learn from it.
That's in Billings.
It's in Missoula this year. And that's just my 2 cents on the thing, but I'll leave it at that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Lance, do you have a spot in mind if we do end up, or I should say when we end up with a snowplow? Is that on your radar for a place to put that?
We've talked about it in the past, and we haven't put it on the airport layout plan, but we have talked about kind of putting it back across the road. I've talked with Darrell a little bit about it because they have some county property that's technically not airport property, but he said, well, we're not using it for anything else. There's another little sliver right along that access road in there. So the subject has been broached to try and not use up a hangar spot
Yeah.
with a snowplow building. So we have discussed it, and we will need to discuss it more. Unfortunately, Dwight mentioned the Pilot's Lounge. I built a couple of SRE buildings flat that had a small Pilot Lounge included within it. Twin Bridges has one now, and then Lincoln Airport decided to build essentially the mirror image of that. It's under construction right now. But if we put the snowplow building back there, that's not a very good place for a Pilot Lounge.
No.
Because it's quite a ways away from the apron then.
Yeah.
So, possibility in the future replacing your existing Pilot Lounge where it is now. That possibility exists and would be nice. We are building a couple of Pilot Lounges in Plains and Thompson Falls this year. And they built real nice Pilot Lounges, so at some point in time you guys will have to take a look at those. But they're all eligible. It just comes down to the wish list items. You're drawing from the same pot of money that you'd be drawn from for weather station or wildlife fence or whatever. And I think once we get through this major project, you'll have those funds moving forward. These pavements should last 25 years, so over the next 15 years of that, you guys should be able to reach several of those kind of wish list type projects, and we just need to, come May of this year, we need to really spend some time on what is the priority list and talk them through and line it out and kind of set up a time frame for getting those to move forward.
Lance, I misspoke, and I didn't mean to call it a Pilot's Lounge. I know that you have different nomenclature for that, or the FAA does. What do you call it?
General Aviation Terminal Building.
Yeah, they're a terminal building. That's what it was. Yeah. Okay.
Of course,
That's
you have to have an acronym for it.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Yeah. The current pilot.
I call them Pilot Lounges. Still.
Yeah, me too. Well, and the current thing is too, if we just had a run or a snowplow building, the current Pilot Lounge, we could use the backing of that and revamp that a little bit if we wanted to put in a shower or a bunk bed or something.
Well,
So nice.
if we're
Just some
going to
thoughts.
do it after the construction,
Yeah.
might be such a thing that we replace what we call a Pilot Lounge now and put in a SRE building with pilot quarters there.
Yeah.
Shower, the lounge, and so on and so forth, along with storage for the lawnmowers and extra windsocks and so on,
Yeah.
all that stuff. And there's probably room right there where that current building is.
Yeah. Just a thought.
That doesn't take any tie-down area.
No. There is a new hangar owner out there that just has a Highlander. Maybe a snowplow could fit in that hangar. Or Pilot's Lounge.
Could work something out. Is there any other new business?
Move for adjournment.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Lance.
Thank you.
And you bet. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
I'm going to be gone on Friday. I'm going hunting for a week, so I won't be available. So